welcome to the Wonderland and to episode 62, the final instalment for season 3. After this, we're going to take a 5-week break and rearrange the furniture in the studio, maybe bring in the pest control, steam clean the carpets, and possibly even open all the windows to air the room a bit. At least we would if we actually had any windows in the studio, so I don't know, maybe a few well-placed holes in the wall? Could be fun. But look, there's almost nothing that we here at the Wonderland wouldn't do in our mission to make this show everything it could be and to stay the number one podcast on the planet. In our own minds, anyway. And when I say almost nothing, we do draw the line at self-mutilation, goat sacrifice, and watching reality TV. Now, there is a contradiction in terms, if ever there was one, right? Reality TV. Now, look, I know it's been around for a long time, but I really think we need to create another genre description for this sort of thing because, look, none of it has anything in common with reality whatsoever. And the fact that every single bit of reality TV has been carefully contrived at the hands of profit-conscious studio executives to rather sloppily imitate reality makes it, by definition, the opposite of real. On the other hand, this genre has absolutely redefined the expression mindless entertainment. Now, having said that, regular visitors to the Wonderland will have heard me saying that mindless entertainment absolutely does have its uses in the area of mental health. For example, helping us to take our minds off our worries for a while. But those listeners will also know that I'm a big fan of calling things what they really are. And thus, it's my belief that reality TV should be more accurately relabeled as, something like complete bollocks, purely because it's the least real thing ever conceived. With the exception of Donald Trump's hair, of course. Look, anyway, enough about that. And in any case, if you're watching reality TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and taking 20 minutes off once a week to listen to the Wonderland, well, it's great to have you on board. Now, it might surprise you all to know that I have a theory, and I really need to share it with you right now. And it's about something else entirely. So, while I'm figuring out what it is, here's the official introduction to Theory Time.
Yo, you can't know what you can't know. I'm going to tell you what I think you know. And I know what I know. This is what I know. Theory Time.
And welcome to Theory Time. One thing that I've never really spoken much about on this podcast is the concept of time. But it's something I think about quite often, in terms of life being, basically a whole series of moments, the majority of which seem insignificant, but all of which are actually all tiny essential pieces of the very complex jigsaw puzzle that makes up each person's life. In other words, every single thing that you've ever done, said or thought has brought you to this point and resulted in the person that you are thus far. What's even more interesting and a bit spooky is that we're not really in control of a good many of those moments that make up our lives. We're just kind of like, cruise controlling it through the days and nights, more or less, calling the shots here and there, when we can and where we feel we need to, but otherwise just going with the flow of whatever it is we think and we want and we think we need, according to where our lives happen to be. And here's where my theory kicks in. It seems to me that what most of us are trying to do is to set as much of our lives as possible on a kind of quasi-autopilot with the aim of achieving maximum good feel factor with a minimum of effort/discomfort. Now, do I think that's a bad thing? I absolutely do not. In fact, I think if there's any such thing as the meaning of life, this might come pretty darn close to it. And when I talk about the maximum feel-good factor, I'm not talking about hedonism per se, because increasingly I think people are starting to realise that more is not necessarily better, that life is far more about the little things, more than we initially realised, that happiness means different things to each of us, and very often the most satisfying thing you can do is something for someone else or for a good cause that you know is going to benefit a lot of people in the long run. airy-fairy? No, not really. And believe me, I'm not buying a good deal of this, I don't know, what you might call New Age thinking. A great deal of which seems to me awfully like contrived bullshit. Just like reality TV, really.
This is what I know. Theory time.
And that wraps up our short and sweet episode of Theory Time for today. Now, when I conceived of the idea for the Wonderland, I wasn't entirely sure of how it would take shape, but I did know that I wanted to have a musical element somewhere in it, given that music, along with lots of overthinking and a really good laugh, has always been one of the most important things in my life. Being a full-time musician slash singer slash songwriter also played a part, I guess, in that I've managed to record a bunch of albums over the last 30 years or so. And the show is also a way to get my own songs out there a bit more, given that having them on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's ever going to hear them. Anyway, this here right now is the Song of the Day segment, and we are, in fact, going to hear another one of my creations. Now, this one was released not that long ago, early in 2021, as a matter of fact, and it's called Crazies. Basically, it's a lyric about humanity, as in people, and I've made the observation in it that basically everybody's kind of nuts, and that's just the way it is, so let's just roll with it.
What is it about the country and the city? That's where all the crazies go. You can pick them out half a mile out. Look out, here they come, don't you know? Crazy is as crazy does, crazy hate and crazy love. Crazies make the world go round, crazy up and crazy down. Crazies asking for the rent, crazies in the government, crazies in the dead of night, crazies in the broad daylight. You don't need a full moon to see the crazies, 'cause they'll find you just like they all found me. Just like that. I was minding my own business. I was just walking down the street. The very first time I saw the crazies was the first time I opened up my eyes. Of course I didn't know about the crazies, but pretty soon I sensed that they were pretty much nearby. They got nothing, they got work, they got pants and they got skirts, they got assets, they got skills, they make mountains out of hills. Crazies in your family, trying to tell you who to be. If you think that everybody's crazy, then everybody thinks you're crazy too. Truth is, no one can escape the crazies. It doesn't really matter what you do. Just as well let everybody's crazy.
Yes, that is Crazies. And that's from my most recent album, which is called Mixed Bag, and which you will find, along with everything else I've ever recorded, on all of the streaming services and also my website, which is www.geoffhealy.com. Now, usually you'd be hearing the next segment every second week, and you will have heard the most recent one last week, but I thought that as this is the final episode in Season 3, what the hell, let's enjoy ourselves with some more
Good Times with Big Geoff
and Little Kev.
Hey, Geoff.
Hey, Kev.
Great to see you back again.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Oh my God! You know what? It's great for me to be back on your podcast, right?
Well, yeah, Kev. But as you know, I like to think of you as an integral part of this pod.
That's really nice.
It's a pod. It's a part of the mothership.
The mothership podverse.
Yeah. Well, my mother never had a ship, and if she had, it would have been called the SS Wonderworld.
Wonderworld?
Yes, not Wonderland, because by that time I would have taken
would have
over
moved on.
I would have moved on, taken over the known universe. I would have grown a little bit.
Geoff,
Kev?
we have a new subject.
And what is it?
Yeah, it's about the proper greeting.
What is the proper greeting? This is a very good subject because I think, Kev, it seems to me that often we greet each other with inappropriate words which are not necessary.
Well, let me give you an example. Okay. So, this is me greeting you.
Okay.
Haven't seen you in a like, say a month or something. Okay?
Okay.
So, here we go.
Okay.
Hey, Geoff. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Kev. What was the clicking noise, by the way?
That was the countdown.
Oh, I thought it was like you're riding a horse or something.
No. No, it's not like the OK Corral or something.
Oh, all right.
No.
Sorry.
That's me. Like, there was a countdown. So let's do it again.
All right. Still sounds like a horse.
Doesn't matter. Could you be quiet while
Could
I'm
it be
doing
a horse?
that? Could you settle down while I'm doing that? Okay, here we go. Okay, Geoff. Hey, man. Nice to see you. How are you?
What?
How are you doing, Geoff?
Well, Kevin, I've got a really sore back today.
That's great.
Got a
Hey,
rash
listen, that's
breaking
nice.
out.
That's really great. Wow, it's so good to hear that.
So, I believe we've made our point, haven't we?
We've made our point.
Yeah. And our point is, folks, of course, that things like "How are you?" instead of "Hello," or give me another example, Kev.
I don't know. Like, what if you asked, "How are you feeling?"
How are you feeling? Yes, something like "How are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? How are you going?" We say these things, but we do not mean them. We are not remotely interested in how the person is doing, unless we're a nurse working in a hospital, in which case it's a multi-purpose greeting, and therefore can be allowed. But for the average person, it's a load of cobblers.
Cobblers?
Cobblers is a load of...
Those people that fix shoes?
Well, yes, a load of bollocks.
We know what bollocks are, right?
Well, let's stick with bollocks for the moment.
I think cobblers is a little bit safer.
Cobblers is a bit safer.
It's a bit safer. But what I'm trying to say, Geoff,
okay,
I'm not sure what
Kevin.
you're trying to say.
I'm not sure.
What I'm trying to say is this: is that the modern greeting is really not like you're trying to break the ice with somebody. Maybe you saw them like an hour ago, or maybe you didn't see them in a week, or in today's modern times of COVID and all that stuff. They haven't seen them in a long time, and you ask the question, "How are you doing?" That's not really the appropriate question anymore, right?
Well, it's not only because because you do not care how they're doing.
Well, that doesn't mean
hello.
no. I think that
really?
I think you do care, but the question doesn't beg for like a true answer either, right? And mostly the people that are asking the question, like if I said, "How you doing?" I'm not waiting for you to actually tell me how you're feeling or how you're doing.
No, that's true.
I'm just like breaking the ice for a conversation.
Right.
So it's kind of like I'm not really caring about what the answer is going to be.
No, you don't care about what the answer
which is not right.
And if I may say so, if you walk up to somebody and you're breaking the ice for conversation, they're going to simply say to you, "What are you doing with ice?" and trying to break it.
Well, there it is.
In the middle of
of summer.
Middle of summer, in the middle of a street, you've got a block of ice. You're trying to break it.
In the middle of winter. What about that? That's pretty
they're
odd.
going to say, "Okay, I can understand the ice, but why are you trying to break it?
Okay,
what is the point?"
Wait now, if you're in Chicago or Toronto in the middle of winter, that's pretty. It's pretty normal to carry ice on you whether you want it or not.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be trying to break it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and you say to somebody, "How are you doing?" And you'd say, "How do you think I'm doing?" "I'm cold." A stupid question.
I'm carrying ice right now.
Right, and I'm trying to break it. And frankly, a simple hello would have been sufficient.
Yeah.
And this is our point, right, folks? Honestly, anyone who says more than hi or hey or hello needs to be spoken to in the most severe terms.
Wow, that's really eloquent, Geoff. That's very eloquent of you.
Well, I was going to say something else, Kevin, but I thought better of it.
So here's the thing.
Yes.
How do we solve this right now?
Can we
on this pod, in this pod world right now? This is Geoff's pod world.
It's my pod world. It's still trying to be launched from the mothership. How do we do it?
How can we can we come up with like a different kind of way to greet people that is genuine and sincere, that you want to connect with somebody and no.
Well, I think...
No, we can't.
I don't know, Kevin. It's short of finding another word which is completely meaningless, and it's got to be a meaningless word because as soon as it means something like, "How are you?" it's a question about a person's welfare. No, inappropriate, sorry, wrong. Something like you walk up to a person and you say, I don't know, "Chookers." Chookers means nothing. The word means nothing. But the other person knows...
Did you just make that up?
Almost.
Oh my God,
You're
almost brilliant.
Almost brilliant, but not quite. A couple of light years short of it.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Thank you, Kev. But in the point I'm trying to make is that, Kevin, I think this is where ridiculous, meaningless words actually are very helpful to us as human beings.
Really?
No, not really.
Good times with Big Geoff
and Little Kev. Yes, good times indeed. And Little Kev and myself will be back with another edition in only a few short weeks, so don't miss that. Now, coming back to the subject of New Age thinking, there's something related to that which has been on my mind for at least the last, 13 minutes or so, which I think I really need to talk about. So, without missing a beat, I present to you
Geoff's Thought of the Day.
I was thinking about something, I think it was the thought of the day. I think it was the thought of the day.
And welcome to Thought of the Day. One of the most annoying expressions from the realm of New Age thinking is, of course, embrace your inner child. Now look, we all know what it means, but as an adult myself, I've found this to be practically impossible. I've tried to do it several times and failed miserably on every occasion. And one of the cornerstones of being a child, of course, is being able to use the playground. The swings, the monkey bars, the slippery slide, and of course, the seesaw. Well, let me just say that there is nothing more suspicious to the parents of small kids to see a grown man by himself hanging around a playground trying to find someone to play with, right? Another feature of childhood is, naturally, using those little coin-operated rides at the shopping centre. Well, first of all, I can't fit into the bloody things anymore, and if I try, it's only a matter of time before I get escorted off the premises by security staff and told not to come back. And then there was a time that I tried to admit myself to my old primary school, and I don't think I need to tell you how that went. Anyway, I suppose the point I'm trying to make here is that it's a bit difficult to embrace your inner child when the rest of you is an adult. Like, there is a reason that we grow up, right? And there's also something about that expression that sounds a little bit, kind of discriminatory. I mean, you don't hear little kids being told to embrace their inner adult, do you? Well, no, you don't, and I'm pretty sure that's just as well. The thing is, right now, we are all exactly where we need to be. So let's just do our best at being whatever age we are, unless, of course, we're Keith Richards, to whom age doesn't seem to apply.
I think it was the thought of the day.
And that's it for our final Thought of the Day for Season 3, and, of course, the show itself. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, everybody, and thanks to Little Kev and also the Wonderland technical team, without whom we'd still be doing exactly the same thing, only cheaper. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of today's show, we'll now be taking a 5-week break, after which we'll be back with a vengeance with Season 4. So please remember to subscribe to or follow the show if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to get in touch with me for any reason, you can do that at www.geoffhealy.com. In the meantime, Wonderlanders, please take good care of yourselves, and I'm already looking forward to talking at you again on the next logic-challenging episode of The Wonderland.
Gotta get back to Geoff's Wonderland. Gotta come back.